everybody. Welcome back to another Zapp Comics Radio Podcast. Sorry it's been a little while. I've been busy at the shop and home and whatnot. But we got one going for you. I got, it's just two of us today. I'm with Nick Justus.
That's right.
I don't know if you see him at the shop. He's always here sketching for people.
Always here.
His little hands and his little face are buried in the back issue bins.
That's right.
Looking for Gene Colan Daredevils.
Gene Colan Daredevils, Gene Colan anything. He's one of my boys, one of my influences.
He was local here.
Yes.
I never met him, but some of the other shops used to have him as signings, but he unfortunately passed away a couple years ago. But
one of the last cons I went to, I remember meeting him for the first time, and his wife was always with him at his table, and a buddy of mine from the Kubert School had a sketchbook, and Gene's wife was adamant about him not sketching because his vision was so poor.
Okay.
But my buddy put down his sketchbook, and Gene drew him like a nice Iron Man. Like, how'd you get away with that? And you could tell his wife wasn't too happy about it, but he got away with that sweet Gene Colan Iron Man sketch.
How'd it come out?
It was nice. It was like, a bust, like a headshot, upper torso kind of deal. Pretty simple, but it was still cool. I mean, to score something like that when his wife didn't want him to.
It's sad because Colan, unfortunately, if I say his name in the shop, most people don't know who he is. He's one of those guys who's just kind of overlooked.
Yeah.
His work is so simple and clean. It didn't really stand out, but it was done right.
Gene the Dean.
Yeah, he did a lot of that late Silver Age, early Bronze Age Marvel stuff.
Yep.
It's good, especially Daredevil. Daredevil was great. Gil Kane, all that stuff from back then. I love that stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh.
You did a really cool turtle sketch for me. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Yep. The boys. It's a Eastman tribute. Kevin Eastman tribute. Took one of his iconic poses or drawings of the turtles and sort of did my own riff on it, and with the red bandanas and the bold.
See, I like IDW.
Inking.
I know you guys can't see it, but IDW, when they do their sketch covers, when Marvel and DC do them, they're fine. They're just a blank canvas, I guess, with the logo. But IDW makes it look like a comic page that has the old school version.
Yep.
Where you would paste the logo on there and the price and stuff like that. So they actually make it look like it's actually a artwork.
Yeah, an actual comic page.
Yeah.
The bleed and the bullets and slugs and all the.
It's very cool.
Things you never get to see, like behind the curtain.
I'm a turtle nut, and I love the old stuff. All my turtles all wear red, so
yeah.
Nick kind of did. I'll post it on Facebook so you guys can see it. If not, I don't know if you know this, I have a turtle page. I manage on Facebook.
What?
Yeah, and I'll post it on there too.
You need to talk about that more.
I know this. I've been so busy with the kids. I haven't all my fan pages. I haven't touched them.
Yeah.
I have a cover page. I have one on Turtles. I have one on Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
I have one on toys. I can't.
Wow.
Manage, I don't have time to manage them. So.
It's been so long since I've drawn the turtles. I was like, this is cool, and to draw them in that style versus like an animated cartoon style, like the original comic incarnation, was really fun and cool.
Yeah, so we'll be doing more. I promise you that. I love this stuff.
Yeah, it's fun.
So, all right. I know we haven't got a chance to talk about this, but Comic-Con was like about a month ago. Crazy, 167,000 people there.
Woo.
Nuts. It is so busy there, not sales-wise for like shops, but it's just far as like just people being there, because normally like we're always in the same spot, and if I need to run downstairs to say go to the artist alley, I can just scoot down the escalator and bang a left and I can run right down the hall. I couldn't do that this year because you went down the escalator, there was like masses of people because they have stuff set up down there now, so there's no like dead space anymore in Javits, so which is great. It's just getting bigger. I'm thinking it's going to eventually outgrow it. As far as attendance-wise, I think more people went to this than they did San Diego.
Well, I thought there were talks already about it moving to a different location.
Where are they going to put it?
Yeah.
I don't know. They need to...
Or the Javits Center's closing, right?
Is it?
That's the rumor I've heard. I could be totally wrong, but I've heard like within the next couple of years, they're going to close it or enlarge it or something.
Well, what they need to do, this has always been my beef, is New York City is supposed to be most people think it's like the center of the universe. It's the biggest city. Everybody's like, oh, New York City. It should have the biggest everything. It should have the biggest convention center. The way the city was built, and it's hard to, but they need to really make, they can put it on the water if they want to, make this huge, massive convention center that's bigger than anything.
Yeah.
Because this, 5 years from now, 250,000 people are going to be at this thing.
Or they could just have it in Jersey like they have their stadiums and stuff.
Yeah, they won't
say it's New York.
Yeah, no, they should, but they won't. because comics are so mainstream now. It's cool. I mean, the thing is though, you don't see the guys with their gap list anymore looking for, I need all these issues so I can fill my run of.
Unless you're me.
No, I do this. I do it, but you don't see it as much. Where a guy's like, I need these 5 issues and I'll have all the Green Lanterns. They don't do that anymore. They read it in a trade because the newer crowd, it wasn't brought up that. The newer crowd was brought up as a reader. The trade crowd, I call them, which is great. That's why the business is thriving.
As long as it's getting done somehow, some way.
And they appreciate it, but the hot books are hotter than ever. Like the key issues, the deaths, the first appearances. Oh, this movie's coming out. And I put on Facebook. It makes me laugh. I said like the most requested books of the show, where of course Hulk 181, First Wolverine, like New Mutants 98 is always hot. It wasn't super hot this time because everybody in the room had them because they're not rare. But
why is that one hot?
First Deadpool.
First Deadpool. Okay.
That was, but the thing is, it wasn't as hot as it used to be because everybody had one. Nobody had 181s. They were all sold. And Flash 123, which is where the Golden Age and the Silver Age Flash meet, the classic cover, that was red hot. And nobody has that book because those early Flashes are really hard to find. But I said like Spawn #1. Everybody wanted Spawn #1.
That's really interesting.
Granted, McFarlane was there, but
yeah.
Every year though they sell, especially the Spider-Man #1 McFarlane did.
Yeah. I
go, it's red hot, and you got people like, know-it-alls that come on. That's not worth anything. Just because a book is red hot doesn't mean it has to be worth a lot of money. I mean, a book can be $5 and be red hot. And Spawn #1, everybody wants it. You know why? Say you're 23 years old. You remember when you were younger, Spawn was the #1 selling book in the world. You probably had a copy of it.
When I was 12 or 13.
Yeah. Okay, and say you went out of comics for a while, and now you get back into it. You're going to buy something that you liked and it was kind of neat to have. And when you see a Spawn #1 for like $10, you buy it because a new book on the shelf, like a Marvel #1, is like $5-6.
Right.
And you don't know if you're going to like it. So spending $10 on a Spawn #1 is no big deal.
No big deal.
Especially if you're like a casual comic guy, you just got back into it, you're at Comic-Con, you're checking things out. Oh my God, they have Spawn, I used to have that. I'll take it for $10. So, and it's a thing to buy. So what I'm trying to get at is because something's red hot doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be worth a lot of money.
Right.
Okay, there's a lot of newer books that get red hot. They never really go up in price, but everybody wants it. So people need to relax. Like, it's not hot. It's only worth $10.
Need to relax. And get your Spawn #1.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's never gonna be worth anything. They printed too many, but everybody wants one.
Right.
New Mutants 98 isn't rare at all, but everybody wants one because it's it's Deadpool.
I don't think I have one.
New Mutants 98. I had one. I bought it off the shelf.
So many long boxes. At that time.
Chances are you bought it.
Probably did. It's probably sitting in a long box. I just don't even know.
So like it was Spawn. Like it's the Image. Image is very different now than it was back then. Back then it was all the top talent created a company, and let's make fancy splash pages for every page and sell millions and millions and millions of books. And a lot of the titles went nowhere, but some did. Spawn still is going
longevity.
Strong. Yep. And your favorite book, Savage Dragon.
Yes.
Eric Larson, of course.
And that's
And I think it's very very overlooked because it's not a big selling book. Nah. And I know it really comes out because he's one of the heads of the company, so he makes sure it goes out, which is awesome. It's got a very solid fan base.
Hardcore.
You guys are very loyal to that book.
Right. And that's one thing that's cool about that book. I can't explain why that is, like why the fan base is as hardcore as we are.
You saw. I was a big Shadowhawk fan because I loved Valentino.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with the Guardians of the Galaxy. He left right in the middle of his story, and actually the book wasn't too bad after he left. But he was so good, and I don't know if they still have it up, but you could go online and he showed you all the he had everything written out to like issue 50.
Valentino was the publisher of Image as well, right?
Yeah, he's still there. Yeah.
Okay.
But so he did Shadowhawk.
Yep.
And I remember buying I don't even remember if it's any good. I just remember buying it because I love Valentino. He's still there, but I think he's just one of the operators. He doesn't actually actively draw it that I know of. But.
Yes, I do have a couple of rejection letters from submitting stuff when I was a teenager to Image, and getting those polite rejection letters that you hold on to just because.
It's cool, man. That stuff's cool.
Like, ooh, I got a Jim Valentino autograph
on
a rejection letter. Hey, that's kind of cool.
So, like, a lot of people overlook how Image started, and now, of course, it's so Walking Dead heavy and Outcast and Saga, all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
But Savage Dragon, the book is still going.
Yep.
It comes out. It's never really delayed. It comes out every month.
Yeah, he's pretty consistent.
He's the one who's really worked on it, right?
Yep, the only one that's ever written, penciled, and inked every issue of his title at Image since the beginning.
Yeah.
And issue 208 just came out. Did a podcast the other night with a buddy.
And what's it called?
It's called the Savage Fincast. And we covered issues 207 and 208 like a simulcast. And we podcasted for going on 3 hours probably.
Holy crikey.
So once it's edited down, it might be 2 hours, but we had to cover 2 issues. And
Is it on iTunes?
It might be.
I'll
get you more information.
You're not on it all the time. You're only on
No, I haven't. I was on the first episode, and I missed like 30-something episodes, and then just came back recently for the past couple. So it's fun, and we'll see how long I can hang in there and actually participate with it. Because
the book I compare to Savage Dragon to like the newer stuff would be like Invincible.
Yeah.
Like what Kirkman has said, he won't let anybody else write Invincible. Mm-hmm. But I think Walking Dead, if it came to it, he would pass it on. Like Invincible's his book.
Come to think of it, if
Invincible's great.
If Larson ever drew another book, I would love to see him draw Invincible because Kirkman, is influenced by Larson, and Invincible's definitely got the dragon taste.
I remember Larson because he was at Marvel mostly, back in the late 80s, early 90s. Yep. He did like some cool Wolverine covers. I remember he did a lot of Spider-Man. He did that really cool Venom cover.
That's
with
iconic
him
cover.
holding the Spider-Man skull.
Yep.
And because he really made like McFarlane's Venom was very like very very clean and streamlined and like almost like neat. And Larson's like let me, and his tongue would like wrap around his head. Like he really made him look like a creature.
The transition that's actually how I became a Larson fan. I was a McFarlane fan first. Larson followed him on Amazing Spider-Man.
Yes, he did.
And
I think you followed him on the Spider-Man book itself.
And the Spider-Man book itself. So you could see the similarities. They're colleagues. So you see the similarities in their art. At least I did as an artist. And it was a natural transition. Like, hey, I like this guy too. I like both of their styles. They're similar yet different. So that's why.
See, Larson, to me, I always look at it like McFarlane. I mean, even though McFarlane stuff isn't, if you look at traditional stuff, it's not clean. It's very, especially when he did the spider webs, they were like spaghetti, It was crazy, but it was still pretty clean. And then you had Larson, which was like, you could see the elbows and his arms were back, whatever. And then you have Sam Keith, who was almost like a mixture of both of them.
Yeah.
Because Keith was very scratchy.
And his stuff was even anatomically more wonky and cartoonish.
Because Sam
even
Keith,
more cartoonish.
I either loved it or I hated it. But when Sam Keith did like a Wolverine, he looked so cool because he was hairy. He looked like a little creature, burly, and his Ghost Rider was cool because he did a lot of Marvel Comics Presents, which is a fun book that is always overlooked. And Sam Keith did a lot of Wolverine stuff in there. That's where Weapon X came from. People overlooked that when Barry Windsor Smith did that Weapon X, the first kind of origin for
don't get me started on that.
Wolverine.
In a good way. I mean, that probably sounded bad.
I know.
Like, oh no, don't make me talk about Barry Windsor Smith. But I love Barry Smith too. So.
Great, man.
Yep.
He started Solar for Valiant back in the day.
Mike Kaluta, Barry Windsor Smith, Bernie Wrightson. Kelly Jones. Those four
Kelly
guys.
Jones is doing he's doing a miniseries with Swamp Thing.
I'm sorry, I said Kelly Jones, but Kelly Jones, yes. Yeah. I meant the name will come to me.
You got me excited for Kelly Jones because Kelly Jones did all the breaking of the Bat's back in the day and the Batman stuff, but he's doing Swamp Thing. He's doing a 6-issue.
I'm gonna check that out. I normally am not a Kelly Jones
fan. I like Kelly Jones on things like that. I think it's like I'm not a Mignola fan per se, but because I didn't want Mignola X-Men, but when you see Mignola do Hellboy, I'm like, this looks great because to me it fits the atmosphere of the character, because he did some X-Men stuff and I was like, it just wasn't for me. But then I saw like Hellboy, I'm like, this is great. I loved it. And he did the cover, Death of Robin cover. That was Mignola. Yes. And he did it very clean because it was a very mainstream book and it was a big deal. And of course my boy Jim Starlin wrote that book. But what's funny? I think about it now with all the controversy with Captain America. He's not white, so people like who don't read books like, what is this crap? That's not Captain America. I'm like, relax, it actually works. You know what I mean? Like, so but when they killed Robin, I wasn't into comics at the time, but I remember reading a lot about it.
Mm-hmm. You didn't make the phone call?
No, I wasn't into comics. But the funny thing I love about this is everybody who was trying to fight to keep him alive thought it was Dick Grayson. Because it's the people who didn't read books.
Right,
It's just a guy that was like, he was a Batman fan as a kid, very mainstream, the regular general audience. Like, they're going to kill Robin, how dare they?
They're going to kill Burt Ward.
Yeah.
No, don't do it.
Most people that do that, it's like, like when I remember when they killed Captain America, from Civil War. People were had their arms up. I'm like, what are you talking about? You don't even know what's going on. And it's like when they're, taking away the Clark Kent part of Superman. It's like, how dare you? It's like, all the people who are complaining are the people who don't buy the book. I mean, you don't even affect us.
If there's anything you've learned over the past 20, 30 years as a comic reader, fan, artist, whatever you are, your involvement in comics, if there's a death of a character or a change of a character, give it some time.
Yeah, it'll go back.
It'll go back. And then chances are, whoever that replacement character was, they'll become an entirely new character that you can be a fan of, and they'll have their own series, and they'll be part of that universe. It's they're like, same thing with Spider-Man, Captain America. When they change a character, they can always bring the old character back somehow, some way.
Yeah. And
you still have the other new character.
You know what too, and it gives it when it feels things get stagnant. Okay. I'll admit I do miss the days where issue 305 or an issue comes out, but those days are gone. Whatever. But think about it. If you have,
unless you're a Savage Dragon fan.
Yeah. say Cap, right? For example, Cap. All right, he's old now. He's depowered or whatever's going on with him. And then you kind of almost forget about him. And then 5 years from now, when he comes back, it feels so good. You're like, oh my god. And you know what? Sometimes you realize the stuff they're making is actually not that bad. Mm-hmm. For example, another thing I want to bring up, and I've been hearing it in the store forever, and I'm actually the biggest complaint over the last few years is that trailers for movies show everything. Like, yeah, they just showed the whole movie. A trailer is supposed to be a teaser, okay?
And you're having trailers of trailers now.
Yeah. So now we get Star Wars, the new Star Wars trailer, okay, which obviously broke the internet in half.
Yeah.
Right?
Broke me in half.
Yeah.
Oh, Star Wars.
Fandango crashed when the tickets went on sale, okay? And everybody in their mind is going nuts, saying, "Where is Luke Skywalker in these trailers?" In the trailer, mind you, the one before it, Luke is actually narrating the trailer. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I don't want to see Luke. It's a trailer. It's a teaser. But they don't mean to as soon as the trailer ended, they're like, "Where's Luke?" I'm like, "It's a trailer."
When you actually see Luke on screen for the first time in this movie, and he's all Ben Kenobi'd up with the beard, I'm gonna cry.
Well, I think a lot of people.
It's so cool.
A lot of people think
kind of full circle look wise.
A lot of people think he's Kylo Ren. I don't think he is. I think he's in a temple. I think he's training or just kind of meditating or doing whatever. He's Jediing thing. He's being a Jedi. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. I think Han is looking for him. I think that's Han's place in this movie.
Mark Hamill, in his older self now, is a little more stout. Yeah. He's got a little more body mass. Yeah. So when you see that Kylo Ren character in those trailers, and you see how thin he is, think about that. That's
so
that's
I listen. You know what it is too. I don't think. I know stories have come out before, but this is a movie that needs to work. It needs to make everybody happy. Okay, It needs to make fans happy, but it also needs to make the mainstream audience, which makes up 80% of the sales. Okay, the 20% of us, we're gonna see it 10 times whether we hate it or not. But like my mother, my uncle, your brother, we're gonna just see it because it's a new Star Wars movie. If Luke Skywalker is bad, it's not gonna be good. People won't like that because people need not a happy ending, but you know what I mean. Like he can go through bad things to get there.
It would negate what was established in Return of the Jedi. It just doesn't make sense.
Because they tested him and he fought and he won. Like
exactly.
And and then Vader turns good.
Right.
I mean, so you mean like.
Yes.
You gotta give it. He's
Emperor
gonna be good.
Went down the shaft.
Yes.
Patrick
James McCloskey laughs. You know what's funny is it's a whole new generation thing. Patrick's 22, 23. He works here. He's been on the podcast before, and he actually finally watched the trilogy, right? Which he never really saw, and he watched it, and he said, "I've never seen someone laugh like this." He was laughing so hard when Vader picks up Emperor and tosses him,
right?
And I didn't. I'm like, okay, now so I watched it with him, and he's giggling like a little schoolgirl, and I'm watching. I'm like, you know what? It is actually kind of funny.
Yes.
But I guess when you see it, first time ever, and the movie's 30 years old, it probably looks really funny. And now I can't watch it the same. But he laughs like he just saw the best comedy hour ever. But
because Palpatine for me is a comedic character anyway, like from Sith Revenge of the Sith, every movie he appears in, heavily Revenge of the Sith and Return of the Jedi. Unintentionally comedic, probably.
Yeah.
But that's what gets me. I crack up at stuff like that nobody else probably finds humorous, but his dialogue and delivery.
Well, no, he's funny, and he's like, just the way he goes from like almost like comical to menacing to just like an old man in the chair,
I mean, you got the visual of Vader, and he's his look.
Yeah.
And this is the bad guy, but then to have someone in charge of him, like as a kid watching, the original movies, the original trilogy, I didn't realize that didn't register until Return of the Jedi for me. I'm like, wait a minute, Vader's got a boss? What? How does Vader have a boss?
Well, I got into Star Wars late because when I was younger, I just liked cartoons. I was into like Transformers, He-Man, G.I. Joe. I mean, I knew Star Wars. I saw all the movies. I enjoyed them. I remember seeing Jedi in the theater as a kid, and I remember I loved the Endor scenes when the Ewoks are blowing up the biker scouts and stuff like that. And of course, Jabba the Hutt's palace was like my favorite thing on earth. I like the creatures of it. So I didn't actually really watch Star Wars until like late junior high school when I really like paid attention to the films, because I would just wait for like the Cantina scene to come on, or to see the Bantas, or any type of creature is what I wanted to see. I didn't care about the Rebels versus the Empire until I got older. So that's like when you said, when I put everything together, I'm like, oh my god, okay, this is Emperor's like the big dog.
I'm mucking him up.
And then you got Vader there, and Vader's just like, the general just And then you got when I pieced it all together and really watched them, I'm like, oh, okay, I understand this, because I was a late bloomer with this stuff, because I was into toys, cartoons, until I was 10 years old, when I discovered baseball cards, which was 1987, which was when the card market exploded. Everybody was into baseball cards. And I went right to sports. I came back into comics and toys later on with Star Wars. Star Wars is what got me collecting, because I was going after the vintage figures. So I went back into it. That's probably like the late 80s, early 90s. So I was already... I grew up with Star Wars, but it wasn't my thing until I went back to it.
Do you ever have anyone come into the store looking and asking for Dark Horse issues of Star Wars now that
almost
Marvel's taking it over?
The problem with Dark Horse, when they got the Star Wars license, it was cool. Dark Empire was huge. I mean, huge. Those books were like expensive back in the day. They were $20-$30 a piece. And they did Dark Empire too. And then it just kind of died. And the problem with Dark Horse was they got so deep in it, nothing was new, and like they did all the Rebel books and stuff like that, and they were cool, but you had to be like really into it to understand it. It was hard for them to kind of pick it up. But they did make a Star Wars like ongoing series right before they lost the license, which I think took place after episode, I don't know if it was Jedi or I think it was. It was done by Brian Wood, I think, wrote it. I know Alex Ross did some of the covers, and it was doing really well, and it kind of brought people back to like, yes, they finally did it right. And then all of a sudden, like, oh yeah, guess what? We lost the license. So they did it at the end. If they had done that 5 years prior to, I think it would have been a big difference.
But once Disney bought Lucas, you from a mile away, you should have seen that coming.
And with respect to them, they did wait for the Dark Horse license to expire. They didn't just take it from them. They let them keep putting out Star Wars books until 2015, which was when they got it back. And of course, they're gonna have Marvel put it out, as opposed to Dark Horse, because they own Marvel.
Right. That's the connection I was trying to make. The chain of events.
Yeah. So so now it's got fresh blood. The books are amazingly huge sellers. Shattered Empire just ended, which Chewbacca's got his book. And I'm excited about they're making a C-3PO one shot where they explain why he has a red arm.
Okay.
Which is going to be interesting.
He dipped it in red paint.
Maybe he's like, let me try this color out, and
I'm getting fashionable in my old age. Maybe
they just ran out of gold paint. Maybe there's no gold paint in the future. Who knows?
Maybe it's made out of an entirely different metal.
Maybe.
And he has power
now
with it. Like
maybe it's like
maybe it transforms into a gun and just like starts.
Maybe it's like adamantium or something like that.
Yeah. What? Hey.
It's Marvel. You never know. Imagine if they go up to the temple and they find Luke and the Spidey's like sitting there. They're like, what are you doing in here? Whoops. Wrong universe. They go back to Comic-Con. Of course, Star Wars is big. But Star Wars was too big where everybody had it, so it wasn't like you didn't feel it at the booth. The major books are hot. Like our booth was awesome. Like we had Amazing Fantasy 15. We had 3 Amazing Spider-Man #1s. We had Avengers 1. We had an X-Men 1. We had a Tales of Suspense 39, which is the first Iron Man.
X-Men 1. Like.
Yeah, we had all those, and we sold all 3 Spider-Man 1s. We sold the Avenger 1. We sold the first Iron Man, and we sold the X-Men 1. And we sold
Iron Man.
We had 2 FF 1s. We sold one of them. So the market for that really, really key hot stuff is red hot. It's really, really cool. And then you got some of the more modern books that are hotter, like the first Miles Morales, for even first Lobo, stuff like that is getting hot again. And obviously the Mirage Turtle stuff, the first 4 issues always sell well. We never get a #1 because it just we get a third printing all the time. Second printings we sometimes get. First printings we never get.
Well, you probably know the numbers on first printings, like how many actually exist.
Well, first printing I don't know how many exist now, but it's a black cover, and I'm sure they got hacked to hell because and it's like bigger than the regular one, so they didn't fit in the boards at the time. So I had a #4
printed at the local copy shop, like by hand, probably.
I had #4 when I was a kid, and I read through that and I beat the crap out of it because it was it was fun, which is why I appreciate it so much. I'm actually gonna do a podcast strictly on turtles because people I don't think they understand what type of a turtle fan I am because they're like, oh, the new turtle stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I don't like it. I like the IDW stuff. I think it's great because Eastman's co-writing it and it has that older look, but I've never seen any of the turtle movies.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Just because of the
no, you know what it was?
Influence of the cartoon on it
and
and the different color bandanas?
I'll do it real quick. In 1985, I was in 3rd grade. My brother was at the comic shop because it was also like a hobby shop. He bought me issue #4. He had issue, I don't know why he had it, and I loved it. I brought it to school and show and tell. Everybody brings in like a toy or a doll. I'm like, I'm gonna bring this book in. I brought it in, I showed it off, and everybody's like, what the heck is that? It's Teenage Mutant Ninja. Nobody knew what it was, and I'm like, this is cool, whatever.
Wow.
And I was like, my mother was excited because she's like, oh, you're going to read books. And I hated reading. So she brought me to the store to get one of the other ones. And
it has pictures. It's a comic.
Issue 1 was like $30.
Wow.
And issue 2 was like 15, and issue 3 was like 10. She's like,
back then?
Back then. She's like, I'm not paying $10 for a book, which I can't blame her because she's like,
that's like $100 in today's.
I'm like, oh, come on. And issue 5, I didn't understand when these books came out, and issue 5 I don't think had a release date yet because it wasn't like monthly. So I was like, oh, so I just kind of like was like, oh well, that when you were a kid too, you're into something for a week and then you drop it. I forget what else it is. So I remember bringing the Omega Supreme and Transformer for show and tell too. So I think I went to Transformers. But anyway,
I used to take He-Man toys.
So I associate Turtles with the black and white Eastman Laird stuff. They all wore red, type of thing. So I dropped it. So when I got back into comics, which is like 88, 89-ish, and I got into comics because of G.I. Joe, because I realized that a comic book and it kind of transitioned me.
Yeah.
I saw Silver Surfer, and I'm like, who's Iron Man? And boom, it changed my life as far as that collecting world. But I didn't, so I missed, because the movie came out, 88? 89, I think? No, that cartoon came out 88, 87. I was in the baseball card, so to me that was too kiddie. I didn't want that, so I knew what it was. I saw it.
Can't let the girls find out I like the Turtles.
Yeah, if it was on TV, and they were too hokey for me. Like, they were like, "Cowabunga, dude!" I'm like, "What is this?" I didn't because I read issue 4 so much.
Too much pizza.
Too
much pizza.
I read issue 4 so much. I knew they felt different. You know what I mean? And April O'Neil wasn't she looked completely different. The Mousers and they were evil little thing.
Yeah.
So when the movie came out, I was like, I think it was 1990. I'm like, yeah, I'm not seeing this because I was 13 years old. So I was like, almost going to high school. I was cool. I'd rather watch a World Series game than go see the Turtles. So I didn't see any of them, and I can't watch them now because it's one of those things where if you don't see it when you're younger, you're gonna watch it now and be like, oh my god, this is awful. Even if they are fun. But listen, if my kids say I need to watch them, of course I'll watch them with them. But I've never seen the Turtle movies. I've seen the cartoon many a times. It's fun. It's like goofy. The 2003 cartoon's really good, and the one that's on now is actually fun.
Yeah, I've seen
appreciate
the most recent one. Yeah.
Listen, I appreciate it, and I like what it is. And I'm glad Turtles are big. But when I think of Turtles, I just think that little window where it's just Eastman and Laird, and black and white, and They all wore red. I understand why they wear different colors. I have no problem with it.
Who did they actually sell the property to within the past couple of years?
Nickelodeon bought it.
Nickelodeon bought it. Okay.
And Eastman.
And IDW has the license as far as to make the comics.
The comics, yeah.
Okay.
And Eastman, I don't think he owns anything anymore, but I think he's
involved with it still heavily.
He's involved with everything.
Right.
So I think he's kind of like a...
And their names have to go on it still, as far as like Simon and Schuster with Superman. And
yeah, so I don't know. He obviously gets paid very well. Because Laird almost has nothing to do with it. He just sold it off. And I'm sure he got paid very well for it. But Eastman... I don't know what he does. I mean, obviously he co-writes the book and he does lots of covers and art for them. But as far as Nickelodeon, he's always involved in it. So he's probably like a paid consultant, producer, overlooker. Like I don't know. He's like they take care of him.
Did you know he was the publisher? Maybe perhaps the owner of Heavy Metal. For
he just sold it. He just sold it. He
also just sold that as well.
Yep.
And like
because he was married to Julie Strain.
Yeah.
Who was one of the models for all the covers.
I was corresponding with him for a little bit. I was submitting stuff that I put in Manatee, the Phoenix story in Manatee. I submitted that to him at Heavy Metal.
Oh, yeah.
And Dan Berger, I believe, was the editor. So I was back and forth with him for a little while, and it fizzled out. Nothing came of it, so I still had that. So put it in my own book.
That's cool.
And then right after that, he sold Heavy Metal as well. So...
Yeah, so I think now it's just Turtles. Well, he put out other books here and there, but I think he's just like he's almost like a Stan Lee of Turtles.
Yeah.
You know, it's how Stan Lee is to Marvel and his characters. He's like a Stan Lee, but he's more involved.
Yeah.
You know, with the companies, but
and he'll always have that.
Yeah. And what he does with IDW is handling it so well. It's the strongest Turtles series they've ever had because Mirage, once after issue like 8 or 9, once it popped. Eastman and Laird were barely even on it. They were all doing all the other stuff. It was a lot of other guys, which is fine. But the book changed. The book really looked different every few issues, and it wasn't like a steady. The only one that was steady was the Archie series, which was very cartoony, but it was very steady.
There's a Gene Colan issue of that.
Oh, yeah?
I forget what issue of the series, 22 perhaps or something. I bought it here within the past year. I found it here like the 50-cent bin. I was looking for it, never could find it anywhere. And I was like, whoops, you stumble across stuff. And his pseudonym, is that the name, fake name you use?
Yeah.
Pseudonym?
Yeah.
Okay. He used to also, Colin went by the name of Adam Austin.
Okay.
So I think in that particular issue, he was credited as Adam Austin.
Okay, cool.
That's some useless trivia knowledge that I have stored in my memory banks for no reason whatsoever. It only benefits me. Yeah.
That's all right, Dave. Listen.
That's my Ninja Turtle knowledge.
There you go.
Deep.
Yeah, so my Turtle stuff is Eastman and Laird, black and white, very sensitive, but I appreciate all of it. Believe me. Like when guys come in here complaining about the Michael Bay stuff, it doesn't bother me because how does it not bother you? I'm like, because you know what?
I haven't seen it.
No, not just that. Not just that. It's like the stuff that you grew up on bothered me when I was younger because I'm like, they don't look like this. So it's like, you all have your own interpretation of these characters and enjoy it for what it is because if I was that grumpy fanboy, I would rip apart the stuff that you grew up on because you grew up on the movie stuff, which isn't my stuff. But, you know, I'm not like that, and you shouldn't be.
The stuff you like still exists.
Yeah.
You can always go back and read that again.
Well, that's what
enjoy it again.
I love
because it's still out there.
That's what I love about our generation who complains about reboots and which I obviously I think happens too much. We grew up on He-Man.
So much He-Man.
Listen, He-Man, Transformers, and
I love Thundercats.
And G.I. Joe. Okay?
Yep.
All right, G.I. Joe, completely different than how it used to be. Like, G.I. Joe was like action soldiers, big guys, and they made like this. So, like, my father and my uncles were like, this is not G.I. Joe, this is, why does it have a bright green or fluorescent orange gun? Okay, so that was a reboot.
His name is Barbecue, that's why.
Okay. Transformers was like 3 different toy lines they just put together under one brand. Okay, so they were like reboots. And then He-Man was like a Conan, like, Conan the Barbarian, like, rip-off, like, oh, here you go, let's make them poof, this is what comes out. So it's okay to, like, if you look at the roots of anything, it's taken from something. So if they're just changing it for the sake of changing it, I understand. But sometimes things change because they don't sell, and they're trying to sell.
And when they change, they might sell better, and they might not.
If they don't, hopefully
guarantee.
they learn from their mistakes and they fix it.
Right.
You know, it's same with comic books. Like when Gordon became Batman. Oh, Bruce Wayne's not Batman anymore. I'm like, trust me. Obviously, he's gonna come back.
Why does it look like a Robo Rabbit?
He's gonna come back. Azrael was Batman for a while, so I mean, relax. You know?
Which I actually got issues of Azrael after the fact.
I remember coming out.
Because of the artist, Sergio Cariello. Big, heavily influenced by Joe Kubert's art style, and he was a Kubert School graduate and teacher for a while.
When did Kubert School start?
Late 70s, 77.
Oh, that
70s.
old? Okay.
Yeah, it's been around. They're getting ready to celebrate their 40th anniversary, I believe.
Yeah, because it's 70, it'd be 75, 76.
Yeah. Yep.
Nice. Do you ever go back there?
I haven't been in a while.
Visit,
I've been there a couple times this year when I subbed for some classes, like a Saturday afternoon drawing class for kids, or on a random weekday, perhaps in the afternoon if I had time for a life drawing class or something, which is always cool to get to try to get people to see shape and form and not be so concerned about drawing a line. Look for shapes and lighting. Yeah,
that's what happened with me when I was in high school. I used to draw comic books in middle school. All the whole issues. I would do storyboards, whatever, and I loved it. I loved it. I'm like, I'm gonna be a comic book artist. I love this. And then I took art class in high school.
You can't see it. Corey's lassoing like Wonder Woman. I love this.
Right, and then everything came crashing down. I took an art class in high school, and my teacher was the worst. Like she was just like she was just I don't know how to explain her, but she sucked all the art love out of me. Okay, because for a month we had to draw an egg.
Was she an older lady or middle?
Yeah, she was. Okay. She was probably like.
Come here, Corey. Let me suck the art out of you.
No, she was like in her 50s. Okay, at the time. So she would be like, okay, here's an egg. Okay.
Okay.
This week you have to draw the egg with the light coming from like 5 o'clock, and then the next week you got to draw the egg with a light coming from 12 o'clock.
Oh.
And so I would just sit there and I was so bored and I wanted to lose my mind from it.
Mm-hmm.
I hated the class and I literally like.
You would have gotten extra credit if you had also drawn something else with the egg, or the egg and something else. Like here's also a block with the lighting.
Yeah,
teacher.
I was so mad, and then like she'd make us draw a fruit basket, for
yes,
and I was like this. I was thinking like, okay, we're gonna learn how to draw like explosions. So at the very end of the class, we were able to
basket exploding.
We were supposed to. We were able to draw like a pyramid. I don't know. It just was awful, and she knew I hated it. And I actually felt bad because I was so like miserable in that class, and I'm not like that anywhere. And because you know what, and it just killed. I listen. I look at my old stuff I drew when I was a kid, and it was awful, but I loved it. So now it's like I would never do it. I just can't. So like, it just. Yep. She killed it for me. So what I'm trying to get at is I love how the Kubert School is so successful and people love it because I'd never hear anything bad like, oh, they made me not want to draw. You know what I mean? Which I love. I'm glad it's associated with positive things. Obviously his sons are major comic book artists, and
Andy is on art tours now for Dark Knight 3.
Dark Knight 3, yes.
In tandem with your boy Brian Azzarello on the writing chores, and Klaus Janson, one of my all-time favorite inkers, is inking Andy on this project. So I'm really looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to it because Dark Knight obviously was insane. Okay. And then Dark Knight 2 came out.
And that was even more insane.
But that was insane just to be insane. That was like Miller's like, I don't want to do this, but they pay me a lot of money to do it, so I'm just going to put it out. So it's funny when I recommend for new readers who come in and they want to read something, it's usually Batman's a very easy sell.
You don't try to push like Dark Knight 2
no.
first thing?
I actually act like it doesn't exist. So when they go, listen, I just read Dark Knight. Is there anything else? I'm like, yes. And I show them Hush or Preacher or Sandman.
And while you're at it, watch the Star Wars prequels.
Or Why the Last Man. I don't tell them about DK2 unless they come and they specifically ask for it. Because I'm like, it's not good. Okay, but this
you try to play it off like, what? Yeah. What?
I'm like,
Dark Knight 2? I didn't know that existed.
But Dark Knight 3, the reason why I think it's going to be really, really well done is because Azzarello is writing it. Miller is like, his name's on it, and I'm sure he has some type of influence in it, but I'm pretty sure You can tell by the way they're kind of like in the underlining text. Like, this is Azraella's book. They're using it. They're going to sell it with Frank Miller on it, which they need to. He's going to do some covers and maybe a page or two.
He's doing like little snippets here and there,
which is fine.
And they're getting other artists to do the same thing throughout the series. Like, oh, here's a couple pages by so and so.
Yeah, so it makes sense to do that, and I think it's going to be Azzarello. I mean, his Wonder Woman run was fantastic, and he's obviously done many other things, but I think he's got that credibility, and I think once people actually start reading it and they realize, because everybody's going to pick it up. Even if you don't like it, you're going to pick it up because it's an event book. It's a big book. They always pick these books up. It's 8 issues. It's going to be every other month. So I don't think there's going to be any delay, and it's going to sell as a trade for forever. Oh, yeah. And we have an exclusive Terry Dodson cover.
And you'll be able to take all 3 trades, including Dark Knight 2, in one tandem package.
Yeah, so just skip the middle part.
And DC will put out like a big hardback edition of all 3 together. And you'll be like, Corey's.
No. So
Corey,
listen,
are you okay?
I don't like to put things down. This is a nice way I can say it. It's not Miller's best work, and I don't recommend it to people because unless they're specifically looking for it.
Right.
So if they read Dark Knight, there's so many other books that are like Year One is fantastic. Read Year One.
Yeah.
Hush. I mean, Batman's easy
Nice
to sell.
Kelly on Year One.
Yeah.
Oh, that's some pretty art. I don't have that. I actually don't own that. I'm gonna pick that up soon. Probably the single issues because I'm a single issue kind of guy.
Yeah.
I want to track those down. I know they're going to be a little pricey, but the simplicity and cleanness of his work, sort of like I can see his. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Don't get me started.
And at Comic-Con, everybody wanted the Dark Knight issue, either issue 1 or the set of 4.
Okay.
Because that iconic, lightning cover. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the ties to the movie, Batman vs. Superman. Yeah. And they just announced, I don't know if they didn't announce it, there's rumors that the standalone Batman movie by Affleck is going to be a Red Hood Joker type book. And apparently it might be under the Red Hood-ish. So
that's pretty cool.
Red Hood is one of those characters that came up. Everybody hated him. He's the worst thing ever. It's kind of like what we went back to before, where when they replace a character with a new character, everybody hates him. Sometimes they like him. Damien, they hated Damien until they finally killed him. They're like, I kind of like him now. And now he's like very popular. Jason Todd. Everybody from our generation hates him.
Such a punk.
Yeah, they all hate him.
I made the phone call that helped kill him.
Yeah, our generation hates him, but the newer generation loves him, and he fits as Jason Todd. I mean, the Red Hood. So it works, if they do that, it's gonna be. I can't wait for like 15, 20 years from now to look back and see what are the most well-known characters, mainstream-wise, on the streets, and when people are like, oh yeah, Harley Quinn, Groot, Rocket, Deadpool, and it's going to be weird because it's not going to be the standard Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, because Spider-Man and Batman obviously are going to be up there, but Superman has fallen so far because nobody likes it. Superman's in that FF category.
I saw a billboard on my way into the Bronx the other day, or into Jersey City, probably both. Big billboard of Tom Brady wearing a watch. It's like a Tag Heuer advertisement for watches, and it's Tom Brady, but you're driving and looking at it. I'm like, wow, that looks like the actor that plays Superman. What's his name?
Henry
Henry Cavill.
Cavill.
I was like, is that Henry Cavill? But he's and I was like, no, that's Tom Brady. So look at Tom Brady. It's probably just me. Look at Tom Brady and look at Henry Cavill, and like he could be his stunt double or something.
Maybe
he's not deflating footballs.
Yeah, So, like, Superman and Fantastic Four are in that category where they're never going to ever come out of it. Because if they completely change Superman, which they're kind of doing, and they throw him up, the general mainstream casual audience is never going to accept it. Fantastic Four, the same thing. There's no version of a film version of it that's going to work because it's too Brady Bunchish, which is what I love about the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
So when you make them different, it's like it doesn't feel right.
They need to play that up in a movie.
And you know what
they need to just like
Fantastic
Brady
Four.
Bunch it up.
It doesn't sound good. I love Fantastic Four. It's one of my favorite comics. My favorite. All my characters in there. I love that series. I love it. But if I say a kid comes in here, oh, tell me what's cool. You're like Deadpool, Wolverine,
Fantastic Four,
Batman. Like Harley Quinn, Joker.
Maybe you have to
Walking Dead, and then you say Fantastic Four, and then they're like, what's that? Like, oh, it's a family. And you're like, oh, no, that doesn't sound too cool.
Family?
Yeah.
I don't have
like
a family.
Uncanny X-Men sounds cool. Fantastic Four doesn't.
Yeah.
It just doesn't translate now. It just, it doesn't work. And I hate it because I loved Fantastic Four.
Have you seen the Richard Corbin movie?
Yes.
Okay, there you have it.
Ugh.
That is your Fantastic Four movie.
That's awful. I remember in a movie theater they had the poster in the lobby for that.
Wow.
And it never came out.
Never actually came out.
And I remember one of the I went to a comic book expo in Boston in the early mid 90s, and I remember I finally got one on VHS, and I watched it, and I was like, this is
the greatest thing I've ever
seen. So
seen.
awful. It's up there with a Star Wars Holiday Christmas Special.
Oh, which I've seen once.
I remember getting it. I remember getting it, and me and my friend sat down and watched it, and I remember how uncomfortable it was with the Wookiee scenes where they're just in their hut talking for like 20 minutes Wookiee. I'm like, what are they doing? Like, what is this?
If you've seen that, then you can sit down and watch at least the first Ninja Turtles movie. You can tough it out for Christmas special.
But you know what? I want to see Boba Fett. That's the first Boba Fett.
Oh,
he's
that's
animated.
Right. Yep.
He rides that serpent. He's got the trident. He's got the third eye on his head. So
that's
why I got it, mostly Boba Fett. But I'm like, this can't be that bad. And I'm like, now I can see why Lucas is like, this never existed. and I'm actually shocked that didn't kill the Star Wars franchise because it is so bad. It is awful. So maybe that's why Harrison Ford was so angry with Star Wars for all these years because of that. I don't know. But did you see him recently on Jimmy Kimmel? He seemed pretty like upbeat.
That was funny.
Yeah, but he's like, you're gonna like this movie. This movie's phenomenal. He wasn't like very anti-Star Wars, which he always is.
I don't know if he'd had a couple beers.
I think he did.
But he's one of those actors that I really dig, not just because of the roles he's played. Indiana Jones, Han Solo, various other things. The older he gets, like a fine wine or a cheese, he just gets more interesting, and especially with his speech. He's becoming more distinctive and entertaining. It's really
I'm
cool.
looking forward to it. I'm glad he's not very anti. He shouldn't be. That's what Lucas gave him his start. So
yeah, he's out there promoting it on these late night shows and everything, which is cool to see. I didn't expect that.
No.
I didn't expect Harrison Ford
expected the new characters to do it.
Yeah.
And if you have Carrie Fisher on there and Mark Hamill, they're great, but they don't. Aside from Star Wars, there's very little connection to like the general broad audience because. Well, Harrison Ford, everybody knows who he is.
Right.
I mean, he's been a major player for 40 years in the movies. So I'm glad that it's, I can't. Thank goodness for assigned seating in movie theaters, because I would have dreaded if this movie came out before that, because I'm like, I'm almost 40 years old. I'm not standing in line for 6 hours to try and get a good seat in a movie theater. So I can't wait to walk on opening night IMAX and just say, okay. Row M, seat 3, I sit down. I can't wait to do that. Because I would dread having to fight all these kids or whatever to get into us, which is what we used to do, but I don't have to do that anymore. And I'm very, very excited about that.
What IMAX are you seeing it in?
I am seeing it at the Garden State Plaza.
Cool. And they have a science scene. It's been so long since I've been to an IMAX. Yeah. The last IMAX movie I saw was Superman Returns.
Oh my God.
And that was at the IMAX.
And that's not even like a real IMAX.
No, it wasn't. They had it playing at the IMAX at the Science Museum of Virginia in Richmond, Virginia. And my brother and I were so hyped.
2002?
2000? No, it was 5 or 4.
It might have been 4
because it came out between Batman Begins and the Dark Knight.
Dark Knight was 07, I think.
Yeah, so I think Superman Returns came out in 2005 or 6. 6 maybe. And I was like, oh, this is going to be cool. So we went and actually saw it, I think, opening night at the IMAX theater at a science museum.
Ugh.
And
that was awful.
I've seen it a couple of times.
I've only
it's
seen
got
it
bits and pieces.
Once and that was it.
But, yeah.
No, but like the
bits
thing
and pieces.
with IMAX, most theaters now, you can just pick your seat.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Yes.
Because I never get to go to the movies anymore, for one thing.
Well, wait until you have a kid. You're never going to go to the movies.
Yeah.
So this is the only movie I'll have to see, and if I don't see a movie at all next year, it won't bother me. I just want to see Star Wars.
Not even Batman versus Superman. Suicide Squad, is that next year too?
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that.
Deadpool, I know you're all
believe
about that.
Believe it or not, I'm not a Deadpool fan, but this movie looks great.
Yeah.
I've always been a Ryan Reynolds fan. I think he's funny. And Van Wilder, I lose my mind over. Just Friends.
Green Lantern, that's your favorite?
No, I never saw Green Lantern.
Oh.
Just Friends is, I quote that movie day in and day out. But Anna Faris in Just Friends. You ever see Just Friends?
Just Friends.
Where
I haven't.
Ryan Reynolds, he's like a fat guy.
No.
And he loses all the weight.
No.
Well, Anna Faris plays like a Britney Spears type character.
Okay.
And she has a song called Forgiveness. And you got to listen to the song. I can't remember lyrics of songs, no matter how many times I hear them. I can sing the song word for word. It is funny. So look it up. Just Forgiveness.
Just Friends.
Just Friends. It's a funny, stupid.
So I've definitely seen Van Wilder.
Van Wilder's great. You know, so I know Reynolds gets a lot of heat, but you know what? The Deadpool movie's happening because of Ryan Reynolds. Mm-hmm. He's like, needs to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen correctly. So all these.
I'm going to steal a costume after the movie wraps.
Yeah, so that's why I'm glad that after this movie comes out and it's huge, all that Ryan Reynolds hatred will be gone. Because he's going to be forever Deadpool. He finally got it right, you know, with the fanboy's eyes, and he's going to run with this forever. And Colossus apparently has a huge role in this, and I love Colossus. But it looks good. I'm going to see it.
Is it going to be a different actor? Than
It's a different actor. I think
really?
It's a different
actor.
Okay. But Suicide Squad, I don't like knocking things, but every time I see a picture or a clip of it, it does not look interesting to me at all. Mm. I think it's going to be one of those movies where Harley Quinn is going to be so good in it. I think it's going to save it, and she'll be able to do her own thing. Huh. And Batman, Superman, I will see it. It's going to be the Jurassic Park, I think, of next year. It's going to be explosions and fight scenes and whatever, and that'll be fine. But if I had a pick,
do you believe?
If I like, listen,
you will.
Me and my wife are like, listen, you can only see one movie because of time constraints, whatever. Star Wars. Star Wars trumps everything.
So she's already told you that. She's laid down the law.
No, she doesn't.
No,
because she likes seeing these movies too. But the only movie, if I had a pick, and like you know, it's Star Wars. Because you know what it is, we don't have.
For me, it's Peanuts.
Oh, see, Peanuts. It comes out next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Peanuts looks great. My daughter's like, I don't want to see that, so I'll see it whenever. Funny enough, you know what my father's name is?
Peanut.
No,
Charlie Brown.
My father's name is Charlie Brown. I swear to you, my father's name is Charlie Brown, so I kind of have to see it.
That's cool.
Because it's like family, you know. But
I would like to see Spectre. I like Bond movies.
I've never seen a Bond movie.
I'm a big Sean Connery Bond fan, so I do own those movies.
Never seen one.
My favorite is actually isn't an official Bond movie. Never Say Never Again. It's when Connery came out of retirement and did this because MGM didn't make the movie.
Okay. So it's not a Bond movie?
It's a Bond movie, an unofficial Bond movie.
Oh, okay.
So Kim Basinger's in it.
Yeah, I know what it is. Yeah.
And it's like a remake of Thunderball.
Okay.
In a way, a lot of the same characters and story-wise, it's just one of those movies. And what is the other one? It's the second or third one. It'll come to me later.
So
all his Bond movies.
So, but I will see them, but like,
you only live twice.
You know what it is? There's things that I'm an adult. I'm a very boring adult now. I don't get excited about anything like that. You know what I mean? I don't care. Like, people are like, oh, so I'm like, yeah, I'm getting to become that old man who doesn't care about anything.
You're becoming the adults on Charlie Brown cartoons.
Yeah. So I'm like, whatever. I'm like, yeah, it's cool. I like it. You know, and I if I want to watch something, I just watch something I've already seen before.
Yeah.
So I don't get excited about things. Like, even if it looks cool, because I'm like, the fan part of me is almost gone. And it's all business to me. You know what I mean? Like, I need. And I don't. It's just in my head.
Yeah.
But Star Wars, for whatever reason, it's one of those things that kicks me in the nuts, and I become like a little kid again. I'm like, I have to see this. I have to see it. So Star Wars is one of the very few things that keeps me like that. You know, it's one of the very few things.
Yep.
You know, and I thought it was like that.
Gives you that nostalgic feel.
Yes.
Brings out the inner child in you and resurrects you in a way.
Yes. So the superhero movies, I'm an animated guy, so it's like it has to look perfect for me to really get excited about it. Mm-hmm. So. Like I didn't see Thor 2, I didn't see Iron Man 3, because I'm like, the characters just didn't, but you know, Avengers 1 was phenomenal, Avengers 2 was fun, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't need to see it again, but Avengers 1 I'll watch over and over again, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Star Wars trumped everything, and yes, I'm a very boring, you know, it's because about my kids, I get excited knowing like, oh, like that DC superhero girl cartoon's coming out, so I'm like, good, my kid can watch it. Or, there's The Good Dinosaur. I will see that. I can't wait to take my daughter to see that. So I'm becoming that person where I'm excited for my kid.
Are you watching the new Supergirl show with her? Because
we haven't watched it yet.
It just premiered this past
week,
right?
It did phenomenal in ratings. So we're gonna watch it. We haven't had a chance. I haven't even caught up with Flash actually.
Yeah.
But I can't wait to I'm glad that that this is there. I'm glad as much as I don't watch them, but I'm glad. There's that Krypton show going to be on Sci-Fi.
Yeah, I heard about that.
It's good that people like this too much. It's too much. I'm like, you know what, though? When we were younger, there was nothing.
When it's gone, 20 years from now, you're going to look back
think about the Flash show. The original show. It was great, but it was too expensive to make, and they canceled it. It was really good. And that's all we had. And we had to wait for another Batman movie, and that's it.
And you had Mark Hamill in that as the trickster, right?
And he reprised his role in the new one.
Mark Hamill.
All we did was wait for Batman movies. That's all we had.
Yeah.
So
that's the truth. Oh wow! I remember. I was so excited for Batman Returns. Because back then and even today, you wait for sequels for 2-3 years.
Yeah.
But the time period between sequels now is getting shorter and shorter.
Yeah, because they make them together and it's faster,
Yep.
Strike it while the iron's hot. So I get excited now, for the Pixar releases. I can't wait to see the movies with my kids. That's what I want to do. So I can't wait to do that because my parents weren't moviegoers. So I didn't see movies with my parents. I go with friends or they drop us off.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to,
I did a couple of times. That's weird. I'm over.
For example, I'm a sports nut. Okay.
Yeah.
So when I got into sports, nobody in my family is a sports fan.
Huh.
My uncle would take me when he had a chance, but my dad, who I love to death, would take me to Fenway Park to see the Red Sox.
Awesome.
He wasn't into it though. I mean, he would sit there and just laugh at the drunks behind us, whatever. The experiences were I'll never forget them, and they're priceless. But he wasn't like, okay, kid, he's gonna throw a slider. He doesn't understand that. So I want to do that for my kids. So I want to see all the movies they grow up with, and I'm hoping they grow up, especially with Star Wars, going to be so big. Yeah. They're going to grow up in it. Like my daughter for Halloween was Beast Boy because she chose to be Beast Boy. It's her favorite thing. So she watches Teen Titans Go. And I'll admit it's a little kiddie, but it's fun because they did a Halloween one and they dressed up as Thundercats.
Yeah,
it's funny. I mean, I'm like, yes. So even though she doesn't know what they are, she's seeing it, and maybe subconsciously it's going to hide in there, and she might see a Thundercat and say, "What's that? It looks cool." So I want that for my. I want to be a good dad, as opposed to being like, "No, you kids stay home. I'm going to go watch this." I'd rather bring my kids somewhere.
There are probably young parents now that were born, and their first Star Wars movies were the prequel movies, and they'll be taking their kids to the new movies.
Exactly. No, I know. Think about it. It's crazy.
I'm so old.
I know.
Wow. Knocking on 40.
No, I had a black and white TV in my basement I played my Atari on. You know what I mean?
Black and white?
Yeah. It was an old TV. It looked like a piece of furniture, this huge wood, whatever.
Doubled as a table.
Yeah.
Nightstand.
And we used it downstairs to play our Atari on.
Wow, that's cool.
And then finally my grandparents got a new TV. They gave us their TV, which was color. And that's when I finally got a color TV. Wow. The tube was going, so it would kind of you'd have to bang the side of it to get it to line back up. But that's part of what we had, and that's why I want to I just want to be a fun dad and see all this cool stuff. Yeah. I mean, granted, there'll be stuff that I want to see myself too. Like I'll watch, whatever, but.
And you'll say, you will watch this with me, and you will like it.
You will like it. So, but, I'm not pushing this stuff on them. Right. My daughter likes Teen Titans because she just happened upon it. I didn't put it on for her, and she likes it. But she also likes, Littlest Pet Shop. You know what I mean? It's all I'm like, here's superheroes. She just, it's in their faces. You can't miss it.
Right.
You go to the Toys R Us, there's aisles of Turtles, there's aisles of Power Rangers, aisles of Star Wars. Teen Titans and superheroes and Hulk, so you can't miss it. When we were kids, there wasn't that much superhero stuff.
No.
It was all movie driven.
I would have to go to the local pharmacy or grocery store in my small country town to buy my comics off the spinner racks.
Yeah, I got them at my supermarket.
So.
And if they didn't have it on the spinner rack, I was like, what do I get?
And then early 90s when Image started up, I remember video stores like Blockbuster and stuff actually had little comic racks.
Little comic things, yeah.
And then I discovered hey, comic shops exist.
Oh yeah.
With back issues, and you can get new stuff and old stuff that, at a comic store that has everything versus having to go to a video store that has a small selection.
What makes me
I didn't, being out in the country, I didn't know comic stores existed.
Well, what's funny is I always think back, when I was collecting in 87, 88, and I would want to buy a Silver Age book, which was 20 years before. Okay, so 67. And I'm like, oh my God, it seems like it's so old. So you get a guy now who's going to come in now and want to buy like they say I have a collection that's really old and it's like 25, 30 years old. Like it's not that old, but it's like that's how we were when we were buying. And if you wanted to buy like an X-Men 1, it was 30 years old. I remember all the 25th and the 30th anniversaries for these books. So now when you get a guy coming in saying, oh, yeah, I have a really old book from my dad, and he brings in like McFarlane Spawns. I mean, McFarlane Spider-Mans, you know what I mean? It's like, if you look at it,
this book was hot.
That's how we were
at New York Comic Con.
You know what I mean? That's how we were because you know they have Spider-Man 298. It's the first McFarlane issue. That was what 1987, 88.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's the same time frame as if I was in 88.
An issue I think I actually don't have anymore in my collection.
The only thing I don't like about 298 and 299, the cover's almost the same.
Yeah, they are.
And then of course 300 is like a beautiful cover. And 301 is my favorite one.
301.
It's a white cover with Spidey's, but it's in
the circle.
It's just like 300, but it's all white,
right.
And he's wearing the red costume.
Yep.
So that's my favorite one.
Yep.
Out of his amazing run.
Nice. I like McFarlane's Hulk issues, and if you don't,
very overlooked.
Yeah, they're overlooked. If you've never seen those, and you want to see like a gargantuan, crazy drawn,
very overlooked,
bulky, insane Hulk.
Because they always go after 340, which has Wolverine on the cover with the blades, but the other ones are very overlooked.
Yeah. The big brow.
Oh yeah.
Like a huge like forehead and brow, and slightly dopey looking, and like he really captured his like a lost look in his face. Like, so check out those McFarlane Hulk issues if you've never seen those.
And to go back to Comic-Con, it being mainstream, the crowd's friendlier. Because they just they're having fun, whatever. It doesn't seem to be. There's less like. And the busiest day at Comic-Con is Thursday, for us.
Wow.
Because you know why? Comic-Con sells out instantly. Okay. The only day available is Thursday. At the end. So if you're going to go there on Thursday, if you only get one day, you're going to do everything in one day. You're going to shop.
Yeah.
If you have a 4-day pass, you're going to maybe shop on Sunday.
People don't have to work on weekdays anymore?
No, man. They take the day off. They call it sick. It's Comic-Con.
Ah, yeah.
So my prediction within 10 years, it's going to be probably much the entire week. Because it's a full day Thursday through Sunday. I can see it starting like on like a preview night Monday and then Tuesday on.
Wow.
I can see that happening because the sky's the limit as far as tickets being sold, and it's so congested on there. Like you see all these people. Like a lot of times, people don't even get up to the sales floor because if you're only there for a day and you're waiting in line in Artist Alley, then you're gonna go to a panel and then you're gonna wait for exclusive. You might not even get up to the sales floor,
right? Because
there's not enough time. Because you're waiting in line to wait in line for these things. So I get in there so early, like we go in at 7 o'clock in the morning. I walk the floor real quick. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then I suck at the booth. So they go, what'd you do at Comic-Con? I'm like, I worked. You don't understand. Like we don't. I can't like browse.
Right.
If I do, I run over to see somebody, give a high five. How you guys doing? See someone who doesn't live locally or whatever.
How many years has Zapp been participating in New York Comic-Con?
We've done since day one. I think this is the 10th year.
10th year.
Yeah, but it wasn't like this. It used to be in February. It was like a nice show. It was a healthy show. It didn't really explode till like 4 years ago.
Okay.
It was.
Yeah.
What reason why they changed it was 1 year in February. There was a major. It was.
Snowstorm.
What's the holiday in February? What's President's Day or Lincoln's birthday? What is
February? Hallmark holiday. Valentine's Day.
Is it in President's Day? They have all the car sales, like all the car dealerships. I think whatever it is. It was that weekend, and it snowed. I think it was that weekend, or maybe it was January. But anyways, it snowed. It killed the show. So they didn't have one the following year, but then that's when they moved it to October. So it kind of skipped a year and a half.
Okay.
It's been in October ever since. The weather's, unless it's going to rain, the weather's fine. It's not hot or cold. It's just right, and it's been phenomenal, and it's really exploded.
Do you guys ever? How far do you guys travel for cons? Do you go to like, let's say Baltimore?
We go to Baltimore. Baltimore's a really good comic show. We do Chicago. It's right in the middle of the country.
C2E2.
Yes. It's right in the country.
I just put in my submission for an Artist Alley table at C2E2.
Nice.
I've never been.
Chicago's great because you get right in the middle of the country. You get both sides coming up. We did San Diego once. The problem with that, it was very successful, but it cost us so much money to ship our product out there. It wasn't worth it. But if we were closer, it'd be obviously phenomenal.
Yeah.
We go to Boston. We go to Connecticut.
That would be cool to go to Boston. I've never been to Boston.
Yeah.
And I'm a Red Sox fan.
See? I'm from Massachusetts, so I've been to Boston many a times. But
awesome.
So we'll travel anywhere it's a radius. We'll stay overnight. Anyway, but Chicago is probably the healthiest because of where it's located in the middle of the country. If we could, obviously, we would do the ones in down in Texas are really good. The Carolinas are really good. The Florida ones are really good. But it just to ship books, it's too expensive. One of the best ones actually is Emerald City Comic Con in Seattle. But to ship it out there, it wouldn't be. Wow. Because you're gonna fly yourself. Yeah. You got to stay there, and you got to ship your product there.
Oh my God.
Whether it's by air or by ground, it's too much money.
There's not enough money. You're not going to put everything in like a big U-Haul and drive across country?
We would pay a company to ship it out there. You know, they just come pick up the pallets and go.
Wow.
Which is cool.
The logistics of it all. I don't think about that.
No, it's too much, and they're heavy.
That's why you run a business here, and that's why I don't, because I couldn't fathom having to.
So we don't do it.
Oh my gosh.
So I think that's about it for today, bud. We broke an hour or so. I know we're just BSing about everything going on, but listen, Nick Justus. I know we joke around. He's one of our buddies here, but he's a phenomenal artist. Woo. If you find him, you can find him on Facebook.
Yes.
You have a website or no?
Nick Justus Imagination Station.
Okay.
Blogspot.com. Is one. NickJustus.deviantart.com, where you can go and check out some of my art.
And it's Justus, Justus.
Yes. NickJustus. Reach out to me on Facebook. I'm friends with Corry. You can find me probably on the friends list. If you ever need any art commissions or sketch covers or gifts, caricatures, I can do it all. And I do it all.
Yeah, so, that turtle one you just did, I love. He did a phenomenal Thundercat one a few years ago.
Yeah.
It's neat. And if you ever look at any of our events, he's usually here sketching.
Yep.
And, it's fun. He'll be here Free Comic Book Day next year.
Yep.
I'm
sure sale this year.
Yeah, the sale in November.
Look forward to the big.
Either Saturday, Sunday. We got to figure out the schedule, but he'll definitely be here.
Yeah.
He probably might be here shopping too. He usually has a big yellow hoodie on, so you can't miss him.
I'm gonna stop wearing that because Corry makes fun of it.
No, I don't make fun of it. I love it.
Whenever I get made fun of, and for whatever I'm being made fun of for, I shut it down.
No, you don't.
Look like Yellow Jacket.
That thing.
Yellow
Jacket's good. Bumblebee, all this stuff. It's fun.
No.
April O'Neil,
Oh, that's the new one. Now I'm April O'Neil. That's good. No, okay.
So for all of us at Zapp Comics, again, the Zapp Comics Radio Podcast, we're brought to you by Zapp Comics. We're powered by Audio Boom. For Nick Justus, I'm Corry at Zapp. We'll see you guys soon.
Later.
Zapp Comics Radio Podcast. Zapp Comics.